Well, hi, and welcome to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection since 1991. My name is Pete Connor. I'm your show's host on this Wednesday, May 3rd of 2017. Today we have a couple of guests. One will be on location. Our first guest, however, is in studio, and she is Katie Godfrey, who is the Director of Conventions and Tourism with the Owatonna Chamber. And she'll be telling us about things that are upcoming this summer now with those kinds of events that come under the heading of tourism. And then we'll have Susan Siegle from Heartland Hospice talking about early signs of memory loss and dementia. And so stay tuned for these two very interesting and important topics. So as a reminder, always, we'd like to know if you have anyone that needs some recognition, or if there's an event that would need some publicity. Why don't you give us a call or shoot us an email? We can be reached at owatonnatoday@charter.net, or you can call Leanne on her phone at 390-5751, and we'll see about getting other recognitions on the program. So now we're going to take a quick break for some messages from our sponsors, and then we'll be right back with Katie. So please do stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Rick Smith, Golf Course Superintendent of the Brooktree Golf Course. Brooktree is an 18-hole championship golf course featuring well-manicured greens, tees, and fairways. We are open to the public. I challenge you to find a better maintained golf course for the money we charge here at Brooktree. Come on out and play Brooktree, a great golf course.
Hi, I'm Betsy Linger from the Owatonna Foundation. Your generosity has made Owatonna a better place to live by benefiting our community, the arts, recreation, and education. Please consider a donation today. The Owatonna Foundation is a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
Well, welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection, and welcome to Katie Godfrey.
Hello.
From the Owatonna Chamber. Nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
You're going to be, things are, contrary to the weather,
Yes.
things are heating up
Yes,
down
they
at the
are.
Chamber.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
This is a big time for you and
It
for
is.
the organization,
Yes,
isn't it?
it is,
A
yeah.
lot of events that are forthcoming and things, and you're going to tell us all about those things. But
Yeah.
starting with travel.
Yep.
Travel season.
Yes, exactly. So over the past couple of months, we've been preparing for travel season. So a lot of what we do is we go to different trade shows. I recently went to a big trade show in Wisconsin called Circle Wisconsin, where there were about 35 different tour operators from the Midwest. And essentially we sat down with every single one of them and had a 6-minute conversation, kind of like speed dating, to tell them about the highlights of coming to Owatonna and why they should come here. And then more recently, we went to the Chanhassen Dinner Theater and went to the Minnesota Travel and Tour Leader Operator Luncheon and did something similar. So we're always trying to make connections with group tour operators. You know, they bring busloads of people out here. It's great for the local economy. They like to see the really unique things that we have, like the National Farmers Bank designed by Louis Sullivan, the Orphanage Museum, you know, stuff that you can't see anywhere else.
Right.
And then when they're done with that, they like to go see, artists and food places like the candy places we have in town, things like that. So it's a great way to bring a big group of people to town.
Are we known as a part of the standard? Let's say, are there certain tour operators and groups that just say, well, Owatonna is going to be on their list or on their list of places to be?
The ones that are familiar, they really love the unique places that I mentioned, and the ones that are familiar with Owatonna tend to be from Minnesota, and so we're trying to cast a wider net and really connect with operators in other states that maybe they go to the Twin Cities a lot, but they're unaware of the smaller communities on the way, and capture those people who otherwise would pass us by.
These are typically motor coach tours?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
And how far will someone come?
It depends. I mean, we get people who, go from Missouri and they go all the way out west. And so, again, they're trying to find those little unique pockets in Minnesota while they're on their way out west. So it could be from all over the place. We get people from Texas, not necessarily group tours, but people from all over the world who come and see the bank and the Orphanage Museum because they're so unique.
Right. So that also speaks then to sort of the indirect advertising, if you want to say that, with website access.
Yes.
So people want to know about things they can log on to.
Right, yes. With the lodging tax dollars that we have, we use that for the marketing to market Owatonna to out-of-towners. So we target major cities in the Midwest, including the Twin Cities, because we want to get those people to come and visit us as well. And our number one resource is our website, our tourism website, which is visitowatonna.org. And even for locals, it's a great thing to use because if you have, family visiting, or if you're planning a reunion in Owatonna, it has all sorts of information on. We have a complete shopping guide, every single place that you could shop in Owatonna, dining guide, parks, trails, all sorts of stuff like that, and then our calendar of events as well.
And some of these will be day trips for some people, and others will be maybe a couple of days that will hang
Exactly, yeah, and it all has a great impact on the local economy. So
good.
Yep.
Right. Well, let's talk about some events that are upcoming, and I know that we are looking at farmers market. Will be opening up here before long?
And hopefully the weather will be better than it's been, but I think it is supposed to be. So farmers market, it's always a great time of year. People are excited to get out and go to Central Park. So that's Saturdays from 7 to noon, and it does start this coming weekend.
Okay.
And along with that, Corky's Early Bird softball tournament. So of course that's a big draw. We get thousands of people who come out for that. So that'll be starting this Thursday, and so far it looks like rain on Thursday, but then it's supposed to be sunny after that. So hopefully
that's been going on for what, 30 years?
A long time, yeah.
Okay. The Great War exhibit at the History Center.
So that actually just opened. If you haven't had a chance to get out there, I highly recommend it. They did an incredible job with this exhibit. I mean, they really put a lot of work into it, and it kind of feels like you're in the trenches of World War I. They have all sorts of great exhibits up, and it is really specific to how World War I impacted people from Steele County. So it's a really great exhibit, and it will be up for quite a long time, a couple of years.
So, there's got to be a season, maybe it's the cold season, as you mentioned just a bit ago, is that, where the planning, takes place, where you're sitting with your colleagues at the office or maybe the board. What sorts of things, are tossed on the table as things that we could provide for, the general public to come to Owatonna to see?
Yeah, well, a lot of what I do is the actual marketing. So a lot of it is thinking of different ways to market what we already have. And so we spend a lot of time in October, November, kind of planning for the next year where we're going to buy advertisements. A lot of what we do is digital marketing. So a lot of locals, they're not going to see that because it's not being targeted to locals. But like I said, it goes to a lot of the major cities in the Midwest. And a lot of it is, even on Facebook, you'll see things like the top 5 reasons to come to Owatonna, or the top 5 attractions, things like that. People like to see that sort of thing. It kind of grabs their attention.
Do you have anything personally that could be kind of a special in your head that you'd like to see us have, but maybe we're not ready yet? Or anything like that that's kind of out there?
Yeah.
A little part of the vision?
I think, the buzz about a brew pub, I know that it's still potential at this point, but that would be a major asset for tourism and for the local community if we were to have something like that. A lot of places in the area already have brew pubs, and it's just another thing for people to do. After they go to our major attractions, they like to wind down and see something unique like that as well. Right.
You got something that I know we should really get to, and so we don't find that we have no time, and that's the Tourism Awards Luncheon. We've got some people that are going to be highlighted and honored there. Tell us about that that particular event.
So the Tourism Awards were started before I started here, and at the time they were honoring one individual who had contributed to the local tourism industry. We did decide to expand it this year to 6 different people, actually. We have 6 different categories, and there was a public nomination process, and then we had a committee determine who they thought should be honored this year, even though, there are so many people that could be honored that contribute to the local industry. So for the attraction category, Jerry Ganfield from the Steele County History Center. From the customer service category, Vicki Lisney from Comfort Inn. Events, Corky Ebling from Owatonna Parks and Recreation for all he does for the Parks and Rec events there. Lodging, Jack Spitzak from Baymont Inn and Suites Owatonna. The restaurant category, Nancy Mornes, who's been a waitress there for, I think, 39 years at the Colonel Restaurant. And then for retail, Tom Brick at Owatonna Shoes. So we're going to have a luncheon, actually, that the public is welcome to come to. That's going to be on May 11th. And it's from 11:30 to 1 o'clock at the Steele County History Center. If people would like to come, they can give us a call at the chamber and ask for Katie, and I'll mark you down. We do need a head count today, actually.
Okay.
So 451-7970 if you'd like to come to that, and then it's just $10 at the door.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That and of course, to give those folks some recognition is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. They just do a wonderful job.
Excellent. Yeah. Anything that's unique that you have not done in the past that's forthcoming here in 2017? That's
a great question that we haven't done. I mean, I'd say, we do concentrate, a lot of the job is to concentrate on the marketing, and so we're always learning from what other people are doing at other convention and visitors bureaus and chambers, and we did put a lot more into Facebook this year than we've done in the past, because that is a great way to capture people's attention. So, yeah.
Okay. And I know, because I happen to participate in one of those events, that's the family bike cruise with Smokin' and Steel.
Yep.
There's swag bags. Go to the chamber and get the swag bags. You get the stuff that people like to have as a little bit of memorabilia in a way, but also some handy things like sticky notes and pens and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're happy to provide welcome bags to groups that are going to be bringing out-of-towners. We put our visitor guide, maps, coupons in there, so we're happy to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Good. If we were to take a walk down to the chamber and looked inside, there would be space there for things to happen too, right? I mean, we've got some meeting space. I don't know that everybody realizes that.
Yeah, we do actually have a meeting space for chamber members. They're allowed to use that space. But the community as a whole, on our website, we have a meeting venue website page, and so it actually lists all of the meeting spaces available in the community.
Okay, very well. Other things that are happening, we mentioned Smokin' and Steel.
Right.
We've got the Harry Wanger March.
Yep, of course, the standard events that are coming up, Crazy Days. Yep. This year, Art on the Hills at the Arts Center, and that's going to coincide with Crazy Days. The fair, August 15th to the 20th, the major events that we always love to go to. Yep.
Art on the Hills, does that take the place of Arts in the Park?
Exactly, yeah, and it will be actually at West Hills.
At West Hills, which is where it was at one time, a long time ago, if I remember correctly. Yep. Good. Well, lots of things happening. You're going to be a busy person over the next number of months, and it sounds as if you've got it well in hand, and we're sure happy for that.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here to share all of those things with us, and best wishes.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll look forward to taking in as many as we can.
Thanks.
And thank you for being with us today on this particular kind of cold and breezy and rainy day. We are going to take some time now for some messages, so please do stay with us.
Hi, my name is Ryan Gillespie with Bremer Bank Mortgage. By trusting your home loan needs to Bremer Bank, you are guaranteed a personalized, straightforward, and honest experience from application to closing. We look forward to guiding you through your next home purchase or refinance.
I didn't just want another job, I wanted a career, so I expressed myself.
I was new to town and I didn't know where to turn for a job, so I decided to express myself.
I decided to express myself, and they helped find the right career for me.
Express Employment Professionals is in contact with thousands of companies in need of quality employees. Come in now and get the job you deserve.
Express yourself today.
Since 1988, the Owatonna Area Business Development Center has been the part of the success of many area businesses. The center leases office space and manufacturing space and offers on-site business consulting. The Owatonna Area Business Development Center is in business to help your business be a success.
Hi, I'm Jody Voisin with the staff at Fairview Animal Medical Center, your other family doctor. Fairview Animal Medical Center is a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
I'm Dan Branstead of Carlson Branstead & Company, Certified Public Accountants. We support the Owatonna Today Show.
Welcome welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, and we are here with Susan Siegle. Susan, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You come to the Owatonna Public Library, it sounds like on a monthly basis, because you give workshops on dementias and Alzheimer's.
Correct.
Correct, okay. So today we'd like to talk a little bit about when do you know or when do you recognize something is happening with your parents or maybe older sibling, and where do you go from there, kind of thing. Before we get into that, tell us what your background is.
Okay, so background-wise, I worked in memory care for 4 years with Sunrise Cottages, doing their admissions piece. Post that, I was the client services director at Channel 1 Food Bank for 4 years, and for the last 6.5 years I have been with Heartland Hospice. So it's a broad background, working with a lot of older folks, and it's become a passion, and so hence I like to teach, and that's kind of what's led me down this path.
So today, and we're filming this a couple of weeks prior to when this is actually airing, today you were talking about the various forms of dementia. And we're not going to go into that topic right now, but say, what is the first step with someone when you begin to suspect that maybe something isn't quite right?
Okay, when you start to suspect that something's not right, it's really good to get an appointment with that person's regular family doctor, and you go on the appointment with them. Ask for time ahead of time if you can meet with a doctor a little bit before your loved one goes in, or if you can stay in the room a little bit afterwards, because a lot of times they're either not aware of the problem or are in denial of the problem, and so they'll brush it off at the appointment, and the doctor is looking at you like, well, I'm not really sure why we're here today and what we're talking about. So, you call ahead and you ask for just a little bit of time, or give them the history on the phone if they're willing to take it that way, so that they know what you're seeing and what they're potentially looking at when you get to that appointment with your loved one.
Okay. So what are some of the small signs that you should be aware of?
So small signs that you should be aware of are repetitiveness, telling the same story over and over. So in other words, maybe you heard this story when you visited yesterday, and now they're telling you the same story today. The repetitive piece, not managing their monetary affairs the way that they normally would.
Okay.
So if you're getting overdraft notices from a bank when you have a parent that's normally been meticulous about money, parent that are losing the checkbook, are saying, gosh, I think I had $20 in my wallet, but I'm not sure where it went. Those types of things are really good indicators. Changes in personality. So somebody that's normally a very patient person becoming impatient, that can be a really good sign that there's something going on. Changes in socialization. Somebody that liked to be involved in activities, whether it was out in the community, church activities, whatnot, who now really isn't wanting to go to meetings as much, not wanting to socialize with others, will put off good friends when they call to go for coffee or something like that. So it's just subtle little things that are out of character for that person.
Okay. Like for instance, if someone usually has a pretty even temper and then all of a sudden they just kind of fly off the handle for an amazingly trivial reason kind of thing.
Exactly. And when you're starting to see that in a pattern, so that that's happening more than just once, but it's starting to be something that's happening on a frequent basis, that's your sign that there's something going on there. Yeah.
Okay. So then what happens then? You go to the doctor and they give you a diagnosis, which is sort of nebulous, but they call it mild cognitive impairment. What does that mean?
Okay, so mild cognitive impairment means that they're not really going to label at that point exactly what type of dementia your loved one has, but what they're saying is that they have the start of some form of dementia. So it's the very early stages, it's the first signs and symptoms that there's something going on. And as a course of time progresses, they'll go ahead and try and label it with a specific type of dementia. For the most part, if you have the diagnosis of mild cognitive impairment, most folks that will transition into Alzheimer's, but then we also need to remember that 60 to 80% of the folks that are diagnosed with dementia, it will be Alzheimer's.
Okay. Okay. So at the very beginning then, if you receive this type of a diagnosis for your loved one, should you rush to put them into some type of memory care facility? I mean, they've lived independently, they're still living independently, they need perhaps more help in the grocery shopping aspect because their mobility isn't perhaps the best. I mean, when do you know when the right time is to seek other types of care?
Yeah. So unfortunately, there's not like this magic moment that we just know that it's time for other care. However, when somebody is diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment, this is the time to start really looking at what options are out there in terms of whether it would be an assisted living, a memory care, bringing in folks to help with cooking meals, companionship, that types of things. Someone who can stay overnight in terms of companion care. So it's looking into what's out there. In terms of knowing when, it's when you start to feel uncomfortable about your loved one being on their own in their current situation. So I usually tell folks that, you know, if your gut feeling is telling you that your loved one's not safe in that particular situation, then it's time to bring in extra services or make a move to another, you know, apartment or facility.
So what happens if you feel that you're uncomfortable with that, but in talking with your loved one, they feel, oh, I'm just fine here, I'm okay?
One of the things,
yeah,
well, and one of the things we want to remember is for all of us as human beings, two things that are most important to us are independence and our dignity. And with mild cognitive impairment, your loved one knows there's something going on. They maybe won't admit it, maybe can't put their fingers on it, but they know there's something going on. And as soon as they admit that to you, that starts the affront on their independence, on their dignity, etc. So it's not always an easy thing to get them to accept help or to make a move, but that's where you work together as a family and talk about, you know, how your loved one reacts to things, and then come up with a game plan with your family. You can involve clergy, you can involve your medical professionals, and you can involve folks that work with Alzheimer's or dementia patients in terms of folks that work in care communities or that bring in home services as well. So I mean, there's any number of folks you can involve in trying to make a plan, and then you've got to carry it out, and just know that you do what's best for your loved one. And I hate to say it, but one of the beauties of memory loss is that what's very fresh in their mind one day will fade a little bit quicker than it would normally, and so, you know, the move will end up being a good thing in the long run.
In the long run. So you're sort of walking the tightrope a bit until they sort of tip over just enough to that one side where we can no longer like bring people in to help, kind of thing. And then how do you, as the loved one, handle their anger?
It's hard. It's hard. A big part of it is you want to listen, yes, but if it becomes a point where they're fixated on it, you really need to learn to walk away from it. Redirection, trying to get them on to something else if you can, is a wonderful technique. We have support groups available here in Owatonna for family members of folks with Alzheimer's, and I encourage anybody, and it can be any type of dementia, not just Alzheimer's, but I encourage folks to explore the support groups. You're not alone, and it makes you feel a lot better if you know that your loved one's actions are really similar to what somebody else's loved one is doing. You don't feel so alone, and it makes it normalizes the situation for you more.
And hopefully you can pick up extra tips and points. What strategies should you and your family be implementing, kind of thing? Like I said, how to handle the anger, how to handle perhaps the forgetfulness, kind of thing. And I suppose a lot of it is too, you just put your faith in God that, you know, you'll know what to do at the right time. But for certain, investigate the options.
Absolutely. There's a ton of options out there, and it's one of those things until you need to use them. Most of us are unaware of the number of options that are out there. Senior Linkage Line can be a really good place to start. They're in the white pages in the phone book, or you can Google it. But they have resources for the greater Owatonna area as well as the whole state. So if you're looking at maybe having to make a move to a different community where a sibling is or something like that, they have a broad range of things that they can put at your disposal.
Okay, so go in with information so that you can make the best decision possible for your loved one. Okay. Well, Susan, I know the time has gone by very, very quickly, but thank you so much, especially for those people that are kind of facing the beginning of how to handle an aging parent or an aging sibling or other family members. So thank you so very much, and we appreciate you being on the Owatonna Today Show.
Thank you.
And audience members, please stay with us. We will be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Services, located at the corner of Rose and Grove in Owatonna, provides an array of services for people with disabilities in Steele County. CVS thanks the entire community, especially our business customers, for supporting us in Owatonna for 43 years. Thank you from CVS.
Welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection. It's now time for some community announcements. Nancy Schroet Memorial Scholarship applications are now available at the Owatonna Senior High School Career Center or can be obtained by contacting Jean Westberg at 507-451-4207. $500 each will be presented to a senior fast-pitch softball player and to a senior band member. Submit applications to the Owatonna Senior High School Career Center by Friday, May 12th. On Saturday, May 20th, will be the Recycling Collection Day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Retrofit Companies on Hoffman Drive. Bring all of your old TVs and electronics and all kinds of appliances and things of that nature down there, and they will take care of them. I'm sure many of you remember those days in the past. So they'll take pretty much everything down that way. Again, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on the 20th. The 2017 For the Paws Golf Tournament, hosted by Reggie's Brewhouse, benefiting the Steele County Humane Society, Saturday, May 20th at Brooktree Golf Course in Owatonna. Shotgun start at 12 noon, $200 per team, includes the golf cart. Silent auction and beer bash at Reggie's Brewhouse after the tournament ends. And we will also have the Steele County Historical Society hosting a vintage and perennial plant sale on Saturday, May 20th, 2017 at the Village of Yesteryear. The sale will be held from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And so donations of vintage items and perennials for the sale are being accepted. Call Steele County Historical Society at 451-1420 to find out more and to schedule an appointment for pickup. And that'll take care of it for today. We would like to have you come back on Friday when we have Haji Abdikader on the program of Coming to America, as well as Don Hettinga from the Alternative Learning Center. We hope you come back for those two programs. Be well. Hope to see you back here on Friday. Thanks for being with us.